I know
That's live.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a discussion about Tom's chest hair. I am your host, JC, here with these three nerds. Obviously, this is two nerds, one quest. Math is hard. We're having a good laugh this morning, and that man that was just flashing his nipples to Twitch is one Tom M. Norman. Actually, that's a badass tattoo, dude. That was awesome.
Thank you. I'll have to post that somewhere. Yeah, I have half my chest hair shaved off and half
Post
of my...
the picture you sent us. It was a great look of your nipple too.
Yeah, I need to crop that out. Nobody needs to see that.
As long as it's
That
not
was half the fun of the picture.
Oh well.
I mean, it's great artwork, but
Did you sit there for like 20 minutes trying to flick it? It's not an interactive picture. Not an interactive picture.
I wouldn't say flick it.
Fair enough.
That man in that Houston Astros shirt is one Ryan Krixis Kukta.
They need your energy. Let's go.
That was wasn't that one of the topics from the game last night? Was World Series teams? Someone said that. We never actually did that. I'm like, oh, that's evil.
Yeah, they come up, but I think we could have rode that for about 20 turns.
Actually, it might. Yeah, like if you go back and you start thinking about it and all the different World Series. I mean, everyone's going to say Boston and New York and San Francisco and LA and all that, but it'd be good. And last but not least, the man with the limerick, the lore master, the lazy dragon, one Jakob Williams.
Good morning. You know, the back of your head is now permanently etched in my memories, John. So
I'm glad my daughter washed it off the back of my head last night and it came off well.
that's
So I'm
good.
glad it's not permanently etched in the back of my mind. Literally.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a really interesting statement to make. The back of your
Yeah.
head is now etched in my memory.
I'm having a morning like the rest of these guys.
What kind of party did you guys have last night?
Yes.
Did you post the pictures on Discord, Tom? We
Pictures of-
probably should. Just to alleviate any well, I was playing with your nipple earlier. Anyway,
It was a Halloween party. There were
it
costumes.
was a Halloween
It
party.
was.
There were costumes.
It
you
was
know.
fun.
Anyway,
What do we do
Hi.
on this podcast?
We play Dungeons and Dragons. We
Yay.
play Dungeons and Dragons. Steal a page out of Travis's book.
So I didn't, due to busyness, get to do a watch the show back, but I will recap based on my notes, and I did write a limerick this morning. So
We were trying to write one last night at the party. It was not going well.
So we, the last two sessions have been pretty much all combat and comedy. Oral and the dragon had merged, and we were fighting them both. A lot of misses by Tika and the Eagles. They were still blind. Some misty steps going on. Guiding bolts were missing. Spiritual weapons probably did the most damage during the show, or during last episode. We were able, and I think Doug got the last hit on the dragon, and now Oral is back to a glowing sphere.
Tiny.
Let's see. Ellie is down.
Down. That's the cliffhanger. She got hit with a ray of frost, and boom, she's down, and it is Jacob's turn.
And from a DM knowledge perspective, we were told that we've dealt about 297 points of damage so far, and she's still going. So
you're damn close. That is relative, of course.
JC, Kooch, and I weren't thinking when we spent Saturday night drinking. So it's good to know out here running the show is Norm and his brand new inking.
Hey, how about that? And that works too.
And that's what you get for a morning after limerick.
I like that. I like that a lot. I gotta get some more body work done.
yeah, you do.
Yeah. I get my arm, my shoulder redone. This shoulder I really want to have redone, and then this one definitely needs to be touched up. But I would like to get down to, I don't know, and maybe do a sleeve.
I never see you without your shirt on, John,
Yeah.
so I don't know what you got going on up there.
They're all right. They're
It's
cool.
a bunch of naked ladies.
No, that's Mel. She got a naked fairy on her Hold her back here.
Mm.
All right. So there was
Alright.
what was it? It was a polar ray that hit Eliana, knocking her to the ground. She collapsed next to you, Doug. Jacob, it is your turn.
All right. Since based on the map, Ellie would have been behind me. I may not have noticed that she went down.
Correct.
I'm kind of in the fray, so I'm going to keep going. I can't remember. I know I was using the Dragon Slayer longsword, and I can't remember if
You
I
dropped
switched
it.
out. I
You
did.
switched out. You did drop it.
Okay, so I see I have 2 swings the last round, so that must have been the rapier.
Yep.
So let's keep that up.
Makes sense to me. Even if it isn't perfect, it's good.
And
It's good.
come on, we need some hits here.
Yes, you do.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, yeah, that hits. That is a hit.
This is magical piercing of 9.
9. Oh, it's so nice to have the keyboard that's in front of me operating the the combat tracker. Oh, that's so good.
And second attack.
Sorry about noise.
Second attack, it would be a 14 to hit.
14 is gonna miss.
All right, and then since I don't have eagles anymore, and I think Tika's not blind now, Tika
She's
will.
still set frost though, and that's a bigger problem for you.
Yeah, so maybe some of this, maybe the teeth damage will get through. So yes, bonus action to have Tika attack, or not. Natural
Well,
1.
She tried. She tried. She bit at like a little chunk of there's like these little ice things that kind of come off of her that are floating around her, like star lines or whatever when you see a star. These little chunks of bits of ice kind of circling around this white-ish blue aura orb. And Tika thought she got her good, but actually literally just took a little chunk of ice that was floating around, kind of orbiting her. Is that
Tika,
completely clear?
Tika, quit playing.
Quit playing with the icicles.
Yeah, that's it for me.
You poke your eye out. All right, Doug. It is your turn, sir.
All right. Well, clearly I have to help Ellie. So I am going to. What's that?
I said clearly.
Clearly. So I'm going to, if this is allowable, kneel down as my action and bonus action. I'm going to kneel down next to Ellie, pull out my last potion of healing from my backpack.
The side pocket that you keep it so it's handy, right? Wink, wink.
You're gonna take your whole turn. You're gonna spend your whole turn to administer a potion of healing.
Well,
Yes.
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to do, so I want to give her. I want to give her the potion of healing.
Pretty much, yeah.
To retrieve it, kneeling to move. What I will do is I will give you like half your movement if you want it.
Okay.
Beyond administering the potion. You want to roll that potion out for?
Yep, it is a greater potion of healing.
Oh, shiznit. I need Ellie's stats up here. Do not have Ellie's character sheet up. I knew I was forgetting something.
4d4 plus 4. So she's going to get 14 healings.
Yay! She's alive. She opens her eyes a little bit, just weirdly, and is like, "Oh hell!" Not like me this morning.
Yeah, right.
Would you like to move at all?
No, I'm going to actually stand where I'm at.
Stand where you're at. Okay. Stand pat where you're at.
And then, do I still have my bonus action?
No, that would be your bonus action and your action to administer the potion.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And half your movement to kneel and get back up.
Can I use the other half of my movement to help her stand? Like, because I'm kneeling next to her. If I stand, like, pull her up.
You can make a dexterity check to do it
Sure.
because she's still a little weak on her feet. I will allow this. This is a fun thing. She's gonna make one too.
15.
15. What does she got? 15. Yeah. Almost like in unison. Like it doesn't even look like
Like an action
you
movie.
Yeah, you thought it would have been like difficult or whatever, but you just, as you're down there, you just hook like right behind her arm on her armor and just hoist her to her feet and like she puts feet down and she's ready. Awesome. I like that. All right, Krixis, we rolled to you, buddy.
All right, Krixis he had his back turned, making sure Ellie is okay. And kind of a tear comes to his eye as he realizes that Doug, Jakob, they've all come together here to fight for 10 towns, and Ellie is really everything that's good about 10 towns, everything that's great about this area, and so he's going to try to put all his heart and soul into a level 5 guiding bolt.
Ooh, get after it.
And I hope he doesn't miss.
He misses this. Krixis might start questioning his faith.
18 to hit.
Just misses. The AC is 19.
Damn.
You shear away a fair amount of the icicles hanging and like rotating around. Like all of a sudden, just one half of that cloud that kind of is orbiting or just vaporizes as the guiding bolt goes past.
So then Krixis will
He's got a spiritual weapon still.
Krixis will fall back and just basically stand between the orb and Ellie.
All right.
And then he'll have the spiritual weapon do some work here.
All right. What has Ellie got here?
That's a good one. 25 to hit.
That does hit. Hell yes, it does.
And that whip cracks right at the orb. For 14 damage.
14 damages. This is magical damages of the slashing variety, correct?
Force damage.
Force damage. I need to look at things.
Force damage.
Nope, that isn't the one, but 14 damage does 14 damage. As you whip crack this thing and it seems to be getting smaller. Each little thing that happens here, the brightness and the size of Oral's form is reduced. Is there anything else you got?
Yeah, then I have that silly little nightmare.
Oh yeah, that
still
nightmare
hanging around. But
and hanging around.
he rolled it.
Was part of the plan to put the nightmare on, or put Oral on the nightmare and send it to another dimension?
Send her to hell.
I mean, could, but the nightmare has to want to leave. So.
Yeah.
21 does hit, by the way.
No, 21 is
21
to make sure that it
listens.
Yeah, he listens.
I didn't see what dice were rolled. I just saw the result.
But it is a good roll, and I'm sorry I didn't prep by bringing up the nightmare.
That's all good. I'm looking through Ellie's spells to see what she has right now. Cool.
But it is.
She'd probably heal herself.
Yeah.
24 to hit.
Oh yeah, 24 does absolutely hit.
And then 2d8 plus 2d6.
Seems good.
Alright, so bludgeoning damage of 13 and fire damage of 12.
Bludgeoning and fire. 13 and 12? Does not What am I thinking? Oh, no. Nope. Nope, it does the full damage. And 12 is 25. I'm like trying to do math in my head.
Math is hard.
Yeah. That completes your turn, right, Krixis?
Yeah, the nightmare's just gonna kind of slide over a little bit,
All right.
to kind of block off a path of exit.
Eliana brushes herself off for half a second and is going to drop a Cure Wounds on herself as she does so. And cures 20 hit points to herself, which is she takes a deep breath and kind of sighs in relief. She is going to step back away from it a little bit and try and keep some things between her. You guys stepped into that space, so she's going to honor your decision to sacrifice yourself ahead of her.
Yeah, go ahead, fools.
I need everyone within 10 feet of Oral to take 10 points of cold damage, because it is the start of her turn. So that is Jakob, Tika, and the Nightmare. Then she is going to... Who is there? Who is hitting who's fucking shit up? Oh, Jakob.
Sounds right.
Yeah, you're going to get some polar rays.
I'm good on it.
19 hit you?
Hey, here's a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, John. Here's a question.
Yeah.
With the searing... Oh, never mind. Forget it, because I was down.
Yep. That first polar ray is 17 points of cold damage.
All right. Halved
Second
is
polar ray
8.
is another 18 to hit.
That hits. Armor class
Alright.
17.
And that one's 14 points of cold damage.
Okay.
And she...
I love characters with resistance.
You frustrate me that way.
Certainly helps.
Fucking barbarian with 200 hit points, raging all the time.
And can turn into animals with
Yeah.
doubles their hit points too. Yeah, it was.
Like, honestly, you made a really great tank in that campaign.
Not even on purpose at first. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know how to play D&D. Is this good?
Oh, hell. All right. Let's see where that goes. All right. That is going to move us then, speaking of Jakob, back to Jakob.
All right. I think just keep doing more of the same. Because nothing else he has is very helpful. So swinging the rapier. Oh, okay. First one is 10.
That misses.
That last little roll to the next number thing is getting me.
I hate that.
All right.
Ticks over one. Dink.
So, no, I don't even think. How big is the Bardic Inspiration die? I still have from round 1 of this battle, and I counted rounds, so it's still active.
D6.
Okay, I'm going to use it, because I don't know when else I'm going to use it or need it. So I would like to add the Bardic Inspiration to this. And I know it's got to be like a 5 or a 6 for it to work. It's a 6. So dirty 20.
Hits.
Yay. And that's 8 points of, I think, piercing.
Magical piercing damage.
Magical piercing damage.
You've heard Krixis' stories many, many times, and he's inspired you in many, many, many ways. With the inspiration of these stories in your mind and this journey you've gone on with these two, would you like to describe how Oral shatters as you pierce?
Nice. Yeah, after after all the misses in the last rounds, he just kind of centers that focus, pulls the words of Krixis and the rest of the team, and just kind of straight shots. I know it's slashing damage, or no, it is piercing damage. So yeah, straight shot right to the heart of the crystal, looking for a crack to wedge it in, straight through.
You'd find that crack and you just pierce the light and find the solid part that's in there, and she shatters into a million points of light and snowflakes that fill what remains of this cavern and slowly settles. And you think it's over. You've done research on this. You know she will be back eventually. She's a god. Next solstice or whenever it would happen. But you don't think she's going to threaten the world the way she did now. You all take a deep breath as you realize that it's over. You've done what you wanted to do. You've rid the world of the curse of Oral. You've put her back in her place for some amount of time and guaranteed that she may not step out of line again for a good long time. We are out of combat. Is there anything you'd like to say to each other?
Doug is gonna look around and say, Is everybody okay? Does everybody have their wits about them? How are we feeling?"
Krixis goes down to a knee and just says, I'm fine. Check on Eliana.
Doug will...
She walks over to you, hearing her name. She puts her hand on your shoulder. Krixis, I'm okay. I'm good. We did it. And she turns and looks at Jakob and Doug and is like, thank you guys. Thank you for continuing what I feel like we started, what Aronan and I started. And there you can see a tear in her eye as she mentions Aronan's name. And she wipes that really quick. And
Doug will say, he'll put a hand on Ellie's shoulder and say, Doug can now, Aronan
Doug can read.
Doug read good. Aronan can now rest in peace. We have taken up his mission, whether he believed it or not. And we have fulfilled it for him and you.
Well, she looks up at the sky, and you can see there's a bright blue sky through an opening above you. The city, the whole city's like exposed. Make a perception check. And Olivia, as you're kind of looking around in this moment.
Krixis has his head down.
Fair.
13.
15.
And Jakob, as you're looking around, you notice the cave you came in, the tunnel you came in on, is completely collapsed. Ellie sees this as well.
Do you guys want to rest here?
Yeah. I have. Well, if we want to do it safely, because I just don't know what's going to happen, I have a scroll for creating a hut.
That'd be a good idea. Keep us warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that protects us as well. Cast a spell. Scroll. Okay, spell scroll bears the words of a single spell written in a mystical cipher. If the spell is on your class of casting the spell by reading the scroll requires a spell. Blah, blah, blah.
You
You're
can
good.
cast it.
Okay.
You're good. You can cast it. We know what it is. It's Lehman's tiny hut. Like a 10
You're
foot
familiar with it. You've seen
10
it.
foot diameter sphere. How big is the sphere? That's what I need to know.
That,
It's
I'm
either
looking-
10
yeah.
radius or a 20 radius. but-
Yeah. It's big enough to fit the
I think it
four
holds
of
up
you,
to like
5 of
7
you.
people or something, right?
7 or 8. So you cast the sphere, and you allow the people in that you allow in, and you guys get a long rest. If you would like to take a long rest, you can take a long rest.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
Before we
Actually-
take the long rest, can Krixis chat with Doug to go check on Valine?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes.
We think she made a sacrifice.
Yes, I will go and find her. I'm gonna take flight and go
Okay.
across the chasm to Valine's body.
What remains of it? It is a charred and burnt husk with a giant stone orb laying on the lower half of her body, crushing her legs. This is all before you cast the hut. So
Yeah. Yep. Does she resemble Anakin Skywalker?
no, she resembles Aunt Owen, Uncle Owen, and Aunt Owen.
Still in the
no,
Skywalker
those-
family, but just
those-
the wrong one.
Do you know why Rey can't be a Skywalker? I heard this the other day, and it's perfect. Rey cannot be a Skywalker. She has both her hands. No self-respecting Skywalker has both their hands.
Fair enough.
So yeah, she's a charred husk of a skeleton.
I'm going to. Is there anything to actually take? Like, you said, there's an orb.
No,
Oh.
that's the Mythalar orb that she was using that had a crack in it that she was using to try and control the city. That's like
Oh.
20 feet in diameter and stone and very, very heavy.
Oh.
And broken, honestly.
Mm.
So there's literally nothing left to take back.
Yeah, she's got nothing on her. Whatever was there was torched in the fireball.
Doug will say a little prayer over the ashes and say,
Say a little
I hope-
prayer for you.
I hope you are at peace. We do not hold you responsible.
A forgiving Valine. Cool. You
With
fly
that,
back to the group
I'll
then?
fly back and then cast the hut.
Well, you get the scroll out, and because you mentioned the hut, and you get the scroll, and as you're unrolling it, Eliana puts her hand on you and says, "Hang on a minute, I got a better idea." She reaches, she's fumbling around in her bag, and she pulls out a stone, and she kind of holds it up.
To
Says
try
yes,
to lighten
all-
the mood, Doug will say, "I don't think we can all fit in that."
No, we'll fit in something better. Omen, yeah, we're good. Good, bring it in. And over the edge of the opening, this huge opening, comes a battle blimp with the Acquisitions Incorporated logo emblazoned on the side. And it slowly lowers itself into
Dun,
the
dun,
city,
dun, dun,
landing.
dun, 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 dun.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I suppose they are the big bad evil corporation. They're not really evil. No, that would be Drawn Industries. But on board, there are several people. You see a bald man in cleric's armor. There is also what looks to be a wizard in a long purple robe, and several like automatons that are about dwarven size that have a what looks to be a cask inside them and a little spigot where a belly button would be, walking around on the deck of the ship like a crew.
I'm not drinking out of that.
There's liquid sloshing around inside him. You can see the liquid sloshing around inside him. But the ropes are thrown down by these automatons and like rope ladders. And Ellie said, "You guys want to start heading home?" And she starts climbing the ladder up to the top. She gets up there. As you guys get up there, she's talking with Omen, and she said, whatever you can find here. If you want to go digging, you want to bring a team of automatons here, this stuff is yours for your help. Doing what we did was worth it, but we need to talk about that thing. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. That franchise. For sure. We'll talk about that. She said she mentions that you guys would hang around for a long rest. He's fine to explore whatever and leave when they've done what they wanted to do. So you are aboard the Acquisitions Incorporated battle blimp. There are quarters for each of you to rest in. There is magical hot water. There is a gentleman walks up to you and says, this gentleman in the long purple robe, he says, "Hey, I'm Jim Dark Magic. If you guys need any help."
Jim Dark Magic?
Talk to Omen. Yeah, I'm Jim Dark Magic. Have you not seen my flyers around Neverwinter? I am the famous magician. And he strikes a pose, and as he does, there's a bunch of doves that fly out from behind his cape. and making like a big show of it all.
Oh.
So, yeah, like I said, if you need any help, you can talk to Omen. I'm going to go back to my bunk.
I'm just going to say he must be related to John Woo.
Yeah.
Dark magic. That's awesome.
One of the automatons walks up to you and goes, "I'm Tipsy 3000. If you would like, I can show you to your rooms and supply you with some ale." He rubs his belly.
Doug is just going to sigh and say, "This pains me, but give me some of that belly rum."
Do you have a cup, or are you going to take it like a man?
That is a loaded question. Doug's just going to be, he's so tired that he's just going to lay on his back and open up his mouth.
Attaboy. And he twists the thing and starts dumping ale in your mouth. Eventually closes it when he sees it's going to overflow in your mouth.
All right. Yeah, I'll stand back up. All right, I'm ready for my room.
All right, you guys, he leads you to your rooms. Is there anything you would like to do on your travel back to 10 Downs?
Sleep.
Level up.
Talk to Ellie.
Yeah.
Talk to Ellie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doug
Yeah,
would
you can
also
sleep.
like to be in on that Ellie conversation just because he doesn't know her.
Yeah.
Eat non-trail ration food.
Non-trail ration food. There's good hot meal in the galley for sure.
Doug would also switch back into his medium plate as opposed to his flying.
Ellie mentions, "Hey, I wanna get cleaned up. We can talk once we're cleaned up and stuff. A good hot bath and some normal clothes." She looks down at her frost and scarred armor.
Seems reasonable.
She meets you in the galley shortly, like an hour later. She's sitting at the table waiting for you guys when you arrive. She's in a like warm, like parka type thing. Looking a little like Princess Leia, you know, the warm layers and Empire Strikes Back type outfit, but medieval. Sitting there drinking something that's warm. You can see the steam rising off of it.
So Krixis is just fidgeting with the ring of warmth on his hand, but he's asking her how she was able to find us in that nightmare of Ythrin.
Find you guys? Well, it's Help Acquisitions Incorporated having their help, and it was you. It was you, Krixis, that I could find. I don't know either one of them, and I don't know how to describe either one of them. But the memories and connection we had was enough that I could give to Jim Dark Magic to locate Creature. We located you. So
I owe a lot to this James Dark Magic, then.
Yeah. Well, just remember, it's the third, James Dark Magic the third. Don't get him confused with his father. He hates that.
Don't we
I
all?
never would.
Yeah.
Doug, I'm going to introduce myself actually to her.
Okay.
Lady Ellie, thank you for your help.
Lady. She says lady and looks at Krixis with a big grin. I like this guy.
I am Myron Blugbeak. But please call me Doug. That is what my friends call me. And I am ever grateful for your help. My mission was to, I would give her the Reader's Digest version of, I knew Aronan, and then and then how I met up with the crew and stuff.
Took the fall for Aronan, explain that whole backstory. She nods because Aronan had mentioned that story. Around the fire, she said, "Oh, you're the partner.
Yes.
Thank you." Like, seriously, had you not taken the fall for him, I don't know that any of this happens. I don't know that we're here in this moment. I don't know if I find him in a forest unconscious by a goblin.
Well, it's taken a lot to get to this point.
Yeah, it has.
The past is the past. I have my goals and I have my mission in life. And I'm glad that my path has crossed it once again with Aronan to make right and make amends and to assist.
You know where the bar is in 10 Towns, right?
I
the
don't,
Belching Dragon?
but I am resourceful.
Look for
Also,
the Belching Dragon in 10 Towns.
In Lonelywood.
Yep, in Lonelywood. There is there may be opportunities to make money. Like, actually make good money doing very legal, very honorable, noble things.
I have been looking for a place to set roots for quite a while, and as of right now, I have nothing taking me away. So until something comes, I am willing to stay in Lonelywood if there is a place that will have me.
Don't set your roots down too deeply into Lonelywood right away. I may need help with a future venture.
Well,
Do you like big cities?
I will go wherever I am needed. That is my mission in life. I do not set permanent roots.
All right.
And then
At this point,
I'll wave my hand for more ale.
okay, you wave your hand for more ale. At
I'm
this
a
point,
thirsty
because
boy.
Jacob hasn't been part of this conversation,
No,
you walk in at
Jacob
this point.
comes.
Or?
Yeah, and you can see that since he's had a chance to get a hot bath and stuff, he has brushed out his uniform and everything else. He's looking like he never went on an adventure.
Ellie
And
gets up
just
from
walked
the
out of
bench.
the.
Ellie gets up from the bench when she sees you and goes walking over to you and gives you a massive hug. She knew you from the Belching Dragon and the amount of time you spent there. She says thank you. Doc has kept the house going. It's the bar's amazing. We may be expanding, but I may have a way to get you home.
So yeah, I definitely now that this adventure, I mean this was quite the adventure for someone who's just generally an escort. I will need to check in and make my report, and I'll see. This definitely has been an interesting place to be, and if I can get a chance to come back here someday, I will. But I do need to go home, or do need to find a way to go home soon.
When we get back to Lonelywood, I'll talk to Jim on the trip. He's pretty handy with like teleportation stuff and planar stuff, so I think he'll be able to get you back to your homeland.
Sounds good. Yeah, I gotta get this armor back to Doc. Just borrowing it.
That's fair enough. I'm not sure he'll take it back. I don't know. That is a question you'd have to ask him. Have Jeff talk to himself for once. And she comes back to the table, leading Jacob by the arm to the table, and the four of you sitting around the table. And as the two of them sit down, there's a massive tray of, like, a big ass serving tray with meats and cheeses and bacon. And just yes. Food, good, warm, solid food, and a big colander of like stew is brought out and set on the table as well, with bowls and plates, and a tray of mugs of ale with a big ass pitcher of ale as well, all laid in front of you. And you start eating and talking and laughing in relief as the ship is sailing in the sunset, and the camera zooms away from the table and out the back window of the ship and watches the ship disappear into the lens flare generated by the sunset. And we are done.
Yay.
Second campaign I've ever completed. Yay!
Yeah, that's a
Actually, I
big-
should say third because I did the horror one too, so that counts.
Bravo.
That's the first
Nice.
written one I've completed. By as far as a campaign, I've done written one-shots before, but never a whole written adventure.
I mean, this one was an amalgamation of a couple
Bunch of
different ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the starter. Yeah, doing the starter set, because my friend calls me up and says, "Hey, I want to learn how to play D&D. Can we do a one-on-one D&D thing, and we'll stream it and we'll teach people how to play?" And I went, "Yeah, let's do that." I mean, and right at the beginning of the pandemic too, so it's like, oh shit, here's something to look forward to every Sunday. And
Mm,
Yeah, that couldn't
Yeah.
have come at a better time, John. That worked out really well.
I mean, it's almost like you going, "Hey, do you want to do a Packers podcast?" That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Thing
Yeah.
is, I think this one will go much, much longer. I mean, what we're already on, it'll be 3 years this March.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
mhm.
We did 5. We didn't go much. I don't even think we hit 100 episodes in talking
did.
12-6. Did we hit 100?
It was like 105, 104, 105. We did 4 seasons.
This
Um,
is 104.
the- This is
Yeah.
Of this
104 of
session.
this campaign
Yeah.
plus all the one shots.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're probably at about 100 and
20 or so?
120,
Probably 120,
125, something like that.
maybe more.
So yeah, we've already passed that, but this is evergreen.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
So questions. Do any of you have questions? We have like 45 minutes yet to just talk
no,
and ramble about the adventure and
well, just so John doesn't throw anything else at us, I'm going to take a long rest.
go ahead, take your long rest. Yes, I
That
just took it
seems
for
like
Ellie. She's alive. She's feeling well.
Would you assume that we level up? I mean, we don't have
Yeah.
to level up, but that we would be.
You can go ahead and level up if you want to level to 11. Go ahead and level to
Alright.
11 if
Oh,
whatever
the,
comes up again.
Definitely
That,
turning it
The
up to
cool
11.
thing, I'm obviously taking a level in Ranger, and that 11th level means that Tika gets bigger, and I can finally fly on her.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool. And then
I
both
didn't know
she
Drake
and
Wards could fly on the Drakes. Oh, that's fucking cool. I'm gonna
yeah,
make a
level
Drake
11,
Ward
and
now.
then also now Jakob and Tika can both breathe or have the breath weapon.
Oh, fun.
It's like once a day or something. Yeah, once a long rest.
All right. Well, let's have a 15 to 20-minute discussion about the campaign here, and then well, maybe even a half hour. But I'd like to finish the show with us talking about what we're doing next. I think we have an idea somewhat, but we'll preview that for everyone too. Something a little familiar. So, do you have any questions about the campaign? Anything that went down, or?
So
God, I forgot about Yukon Cornelius. I forgot that was a thing. Wow.
what would have happened if we would have actually, because Aronan was about this close to jacking him up. Like
The
what
jacking. Oh,
Yukon
Yukon
Cornelius, because
Cornelius.
he was gold. Like
Yeah.
what would have
Oh,
happened if he would have actually
You would have
attacked
fought
him?
a golem. He was a gold golem. Like, had you been threatening to him, yeah, he would have fought him. Had you killed him, that might have altered the course of this whole damn adventure. Because that was on the way to 10 towns, wasn't it? Or no,
It was like the first. It was the
between two
first
of the
mini
towns.
quest, I think. Yeah.
I really like the way that the adventure's written. Like, each city's got an issue. Each one of the 10 towns has had an issue or a quest to go handle in each situation, and it can be different depending on the towns you go to. It's really interesting. The whole thing with the Clockwork Dragon was really cool too. The timings of that, having that all laid out, and hey, if they do this or they go here, they can actually go here and cut this off, and like there was a lot of moving parts to that and how that could turn out, and what you did at each spot versus what actually happens. You kept it from going to Jeff jumping on the back of it, kept it from going and wrecking the rest of the towns. Like, you don't do that, and it gets away from you there. I have a feeling you guys would have never caught back up to it, and it would have wrecked the other half of the towns. As it stood, it went through, I think, 5 of them. So it's fun.
I guess
Questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I know Krixis has quite a bit of a epilogue.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about him? What he goes and does once you get back? And...
Well, I mean, he just knows he's headed to Tourmaline to kind of offer the ring back to Marta and make sure that the two of them are inseparable for the rest of days. But,
So, do you feel that ends with her staying at the inn and you staying there, or her coming adventuring with you?
It's a great question. I'm not gonna engage in any of that because I don't know what we do with these characters long term. So
I mean, honestly, like maybe there's an adventure where you play Marta at some point, and you're looking for Krixis because he went off on an adventure by himself. That he hasn't come back yet. Who knows? Could be something like that. When you gave her the ring, she took it back and put it on and reached behind the bar and brought something up, and it was a little box and placed it in front of you, and it was a matching ring that she gave back to you, of a ring of warmth.
Yay, she does like
Mm.
me.
Is there something that you were 100% prepared and expecting us to do that we just basically gave you the birds and
Fucking robbing the store in Luskin. as wild. I was not expecting that, and I'm like, God, there's what we're gonna do. Okay, so, and the whole robbing of the store. I did not expect that, but it's like, okay,
that was one of
it's
the
one of those things where what keeps as a DM, how do you keep more powerful than normal people from just rampaging a town and stealing all the good shit? And it's like, well, these people are going to have magic systems and things that guard all this stuff. They aren't idiots. They may not be powerful, but someone that's got all that stuff is going to have a lot of money to back that up and keep it safe. And it's like, what kind of traps can I put in place? God, I mean, honestly, we had a lot of really good sessions. That was one of my favorite of this whole campaign, was that when you guys robbed that store in Luskin.
That was going to be my statement, was that was one of the more fun side things that we did, I think, was because it was kind of, I don't want to say spur of the moment, but it was like, okay, how do we do this? Okay, how do we figure this out? And then
one of the super cool things about, like, because that was homebrew connection between that first adventure from the starter set and getting you guys to 10 towns. So that was, okay, you guys have a destination. You're going to stop here, 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 and here. And, well, this is what this city is. What are you doing? And you guys go and do stuff. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. He's got a lot of cool shit. And you say something, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do this. This will be fun.
I think the other aspect of traveling through these towns was Krixis's bard.
Yeah.
And the singing and the jokes we made about, like, music. What was it, Slayer?
Yep.
And doing all of, learning how to do the light show as he was performing and stuff. Like, that was really cool. Like, that was great character setup.
Honestly, I imagine that is probably something that pulls people to the Belching Dragon, is Krixis. When Krixis plays on nights, that the Belching Dragon's packed, because people know what he does, and he's only getting better at it as he's practicing.
Mm-hmm.
He tells entire stories and stuff with his music and magic.
Well, and he's
Journey through Ythrin was didn't give many opportunities.
Yeah.
But I wish I could go back to a couple episodes and, like, when we had a break or something like that, just have another quick song, because I really did. I enjoy that part of it, and it did kind of create the lore of Krixis a little bit more.
Yeah.
As kind of the consistent character through this whole thing, I wish he had more opportunities to really, like, endear himself to the viewers.
I was going to say congratulations on having the one character that made it all the way through. I mean, granted, Jeff's was by choice, but it was a logical choice for his character. What, Jeff, I love that you brought that to the table, and then I was reading the adventure. I'm like, oh, there's an opportunity to buy a bar here. We may, like, it crossed my mind. I'm like, that Doc may just go, nope, here, I'm good. There's a bar. This is my dream.
Yeah. No, Doc's story. He was just trying to get away. And actually, if there's some follow up on Doc's story, what Doc would probably do is kind of change. Like, maybe he'd stop getting called Doc. Well, I don't know if he would or not, but he'd send back the breastplate and the short sword and anything else that was connected with him with a note that basically said he died, all the way back, so nobody tries to come find him anymore. And it's like, here's all the stuff, we're square, we're settled, and I don't exist anymore, kind of a thing. And and he'd basically be happy just bar at night and go fishing with the going for those knucklehead trout during the day.
Oh yeah. Now the water's unfrozen as well.
Do a little scrimshaw on the side, just for not necessarily for profit, but just for something to do. So yeah.
Cocking his horn, going fishing in the dark.
And Doug kind of said with Eliana that he kind of go wherever he's needed. My thought would be that he'd be one of the ones that helps her start up the franchise backed by Acquisitions Incorporated in Neverwinter. So
Yeah.
that adventurer's hub.
Doug,
That Ellie would eventually come back to him and say, "Hey, listen, this is what I was talking about. We're setting this up, backed by Acquisitions Incorporated. We're creating an adventurers bar/pub where people can come and find adventures, find work to do, and dangerous work or work for only the best adventurers."
Doug would be the person that would he would pick and choose what he deemed to be, I don't want to say worthy of his work, but because he has a specific goal set in mind to avenge and, help those who are less fortunate and to take on those bigger needs for somebody, the ones that are gold related, or the ones that are, oh, there's a monster over here that needs to be killed because it's terrorizing these people. Like those ones, he would probably leave to other people. He would be going after the ones to where, this Duke of this land, is terrorizing the people that live in his area. Those are the rights that he would go and fix.
Yeah.
So,
And I imagine that you and Ellie Doug and Ellie fell into a pattern where she'd get a batch of like things that needed to be done, quests that needed to be completed, and she'd hand it over to Doug, and Doug would just file through it.
Yeah.
Nope, this one's for me, those for other people.
Yep.
This one's for me, those for other people.
Yeah. Nope. No, this guy's fucked. Yep. Nope.
Yep. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Ellie would open up that franchise, as you all know.
Franchisee.
There is she has where am I here? Let me find her. See if she has anything. Yeah, there's a couple of things she hangs up in that bar. Her set of armor, first of all, is hung up on one wall. She has there's a necklace that once looked like it held several beads. That is hanging on a hook by the door to the kitchen. And then just inside the front door, there's a like shepherd's hook off the wall and a lantern that continually glows green. Because if you look carefully every once in a while, you'll notice a little chewinga or two running around the pub.
I like to think that every so often they run out of silverware and they have to figure out where the chewing is hiding it, and then go get it all again, and then it slowly disappears.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Jacob still has the Dragon Slayer longsword that he'd returned.
So yeah, that would be hung on the wall, and we should start writing all these things down.
Yeah.
The Dragon Slayer longsword. I don't know if Krixis would keep his shield and axe that he had acquired, the Bulwark Smasher and that stuff, or
Where is the Bulwark Smasher? Do I have that?
I think you have it. Maybe? I don't know.
I have the Bulwark Breaker, the shield, and
I'm
gonna keep that.
Doc might have the other one.
There is an understanding with it that anything donated to the walls of the pub by adventurers, they can come back and grab it at any time. Like there are enchantments that keep it stuck to the wall that don't allow other people to take it off the wall. Only the owner can. At any point in time that they need that stuff, they can come back and get it and go out on their adventure. It's almost like a showy locker room.
that brings to mind like a very funny visual of a busy full bar, people are serving drinks, and some dude just comes hustling into the bar, rips the sword off the wall, goes running right back out.
It's been known to
Everybody's like, why did that person just steal something, and why does nobody in the bar care?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because it's his.
Yeah, and it starts
Or it'd be
and then
like
Yeah.
it'd be like Doc just kind of grumpily like, oh, God, muttering under his breath, comes in, grabs his axe off the wall, goes muttering back out like, I'm gonna teach these fuckers.
it's amazing. That is amazing. And I can see like a little kid, like there's a family in there eating or something, and someone comes running, like Doc comes running and grabs his axe off the wall. And the little kid's walking over to this sword, and he keeps trying to grab it, but his hand stops every time he tries to grab it. He's like, what?
Yeah, that's.
I like that.
So the franchise is set up in Neverwinter.
So
The
Jacob goes.
Bar in Lonelywood is great. Jacob does.
So Jacob would go back to Eberron, whatever method is found. But initially when he was first hanging out with Ellie, definitely treating the whole thing as a business and customer relationship, not wanting to do anything but spending more time with this crew. He kind of became friends. So there's a possibility that he would explore with, and I think there was some attraction with Ellie, but it was kind of like I'm not supposed to fraternize with the clients kind of thing at first, and so he would definitely have obligations with his house back on Eberron, but anytime he could, he'd come back and run a mini adventure, or at least hang out with them for a while.
It was very much going back to Eberron was for Ellie and Jacob. It was like the whole time, as the whole introduction of feelings for each other was kind of happened at the moment where they just both said, fuck this, I'm going to spell myself and let all this out, was like a day or two before Jacob had to leave. And Jacob being on the Sword Coast and on this plane is very much, I imagine, like a Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann thing, where he constantly is, whenever he can comes back, and they spend a weekend or a week together, and then he's got to go back to deal with stuff for his house in Eberron. So it's a little sad, but it's a little beautiful at the same time.
Would he go back to grub hubbing for extra cash?
Yeah.
I have
now
one
we can make flight delivery.
One loose end that you'd like to tie up. What is that?
And probably I need your memory on this one, Genius. Where did we leave the dogs?
Oh.
It's been about a year since we were reunited with our dogs.
We left them outside the front of that cave when we went in, because we didn't take them like where I think there was a waterfall coming down the glacier. We had basically built them a little pen so they wouldn't stray, and I'm guessing Ellie would have seen them when she came in.
So it was a year of our time, but it was only like a few days.
Yeah. Do you ever go looking for them? Would Krixis have gone looking for him?
So I imagine once we get on that blimp, the first job we do is go find the dogs.
Okay.
And then we bring the dogs back.
There is a
Charles Barkley and Bob Barker.
As when you crest the hill and you actually see where you guys had left them, there is tracks away from the pen that you created. They got out of the pen. They found you're able to track them fairly easy. They basically set up shop in a nearby little wooded area. Did some hunting there and
did their own grub hubbing.
Yeah, they did their own grub hubbing in the little wooded area. So if you guys landed the ship there,
the dogs have made a little town. They've set up they're now running an antique shop.
Yeah, the belching puppy.
I would
but
assume
it's all sticks.
I would assume that Prince would go with Ellie, knowing that Aronan is. I mean, unless it had weird connection with Doug, but I would
That
assume
ride
that.
back would be kind of amazing.
What's that?
All the dogs on the ship,
Yeah.
along with all the automatons, and I can hear Omen swearing because he stepped in dog shit on the deck of the ship at one point. Automatons weren't quick enough. There was one of them walked over and he opened his spigot and dumped a bunch of whatever was inside him on the deck and then started mopping it up. like he's the cleaning automaton. It's like that's like Clorox or something inside his belly.
He's full of sawdust.
Full size. Yep. Oh. Yeah, you go back and find the dogs. Yeah, they'd be around. Probably at the Belching Dragon and Lonely What they wouldn't be so keen on being in the big city. Except maybe Prince. Prince probably stayed with Ellie. I think Prince just straight up became Ellie's dog, and yeah, he probably lays on the floor of the bar.
And I would
By the hearth.
assume that the dogs would kind of, dogs kind of sense sadness. And I think Prince would probably understand that Aronan did not come back.
Yeah.
And so he would stay with his, because the other one was his sister, right?
Yeah,
I believe, yeah.
Princess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elquin wants
And
to know,
then-
what about the professor?
What about the professor?
Oh,
what
I covered that. I put a little show title out there. Story time with Professor Scant is also popular at the bar.
Oh, so in Lonely What, or did he make the trek to Neverwinter with the rest of them?
I'm not sure. It seems like maybe he could have a prominent position in the bar as like a talking head from Futurama.
Yeah, actually, yeah. He sits in the bar. Honestly, there's a little bucket in front of him too, and if you throw a gold coin in the bucket, he'll roast you. which tends to be a fun thing because the roasts are very kind of dry humor and very straight laced. There isn't any real swearing in it or anything.
It's like a very intellectual. I'm supposed to be insulted, but I don't understand half of what you're saying sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
For 2 gold, he'll actually battle you. Like you go back and forth, like try to roast, and whoever has the best, whoever makes the other person give up, or whoever can't think of a better comeback.
For 10 gold, you can rent him to go bowling with.
He creates the sport of bowling and on the
Yeah.
Sword Coast.
Ugh.
We'll take some wood. Oh, who else was
I-
out there? Who else?
I picture
interacted?
Scant. You know how they have like those yard globes that sit on like a pedestal?
Oh yeah, yep,
I picture him sitting on a yard pedestal at the end of the bar.
yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking too.
Or you get one of those fountains where there's the globe on it, and the globe starts spinning when the water runs over it, and get them all dizzy.
So would
Wood.
I'm trying to think of the name of that town, that first winter
Ooh.
town where we actually found out about the Ice Queen Lake.
Yeah,
Like that would have thawed out then.
yeah.
That would have
All-
become a more
all
prosperous.
of like the whole region
Yeah.
became. Now it didn't get very warm during the summer because you were very far in the north, but warm enough that the
Like-
snow didn't hang around for a little while. Like the grass peeked through for a little bit for
Like
maybe
they would
like
have
a
been
month
able
or so.
to start fishing again, and they would have been
Yep.
able to leave their houses and.
And Professor Scant, one of the stories he tells the story of you guys if people ask him to. And he pays attention to Krixis as Krixis is playing and uses Krixis's embellishments. I'm just trying to solidify the story, the tale, even if it is a little just tweaked to make you guys look even just that much cooler. He's not against you in any means of doing that. I was gonna say something specific and I forget what it was now. Damn it. I forget. I'm
I-
old.
I
My
don't know.
memory doesn't work sometimes. And then other times I connect really weird shit together. Through that.
All right. So should
Uh,
we discuss what's coming up?
Yeah.
What's next for us? Because we're coming to the
Well-
end of our time.
Would you like to set that up? Because I mean, Mr. DM, DM Norm.
Yeah. So I have a series of basically they are one shots that I'm going to be dragging out into a longer. I shouldn't say a longer story, but basically connected one shots. We did one probably about 3 months ago, huh? That was in summer when
Yeah,
Genius was gone.
Axon ran.
I don't know if you guys want to, Genius will obviously be rolling a level 2 character unless he has one already set or wants to use one that he had
I
previously.
always have level 2 characters.
I'm
I
sure you do.
absolutely 100% want to keep up with Axe.
Okay.
I like Axon
Alright.
ran like the dwarven buddies that Dad had famous fathers is just such a cool idea. I never forget that Ryan said that. I'm like, oh, I love that.
Yep. Yeah, and
So-
I was going to say if you guys wanted to roll new ones, you could just to start fresh, or you can continue
Jeff, I
with
want
your
to
level
talk
2.
to you. 'Cause I have an idea. I have an idea that would be really actually kind of fun and funny.
I haven't watched that show, so I'll have to watch that in the next week to
Yeah.
again and build into it. But yeah,
We're gonna pick up with that next week then, Norm? Are you gonna be ready to go next week for that?
I should be.
Okay, cool.
Next. So we have a wedding on Saturday. It's in town. We have some friends staying with us, but that should be fine. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be here.
Okay.
okay.
But don't- but also-
if you can't make it, we've got the one that
The 6th.
John just started
Yes. Yeah. we'll
too.
do
So we can probably go either way for
Yeah,
you.
so why don't you kind of half prepare for that, John, just in case,
Okay.
because I'm not sure what Stacy will.
what your thing will be.
Yeah.
Just
She-
a comment the week after that. So next week is daylight savings.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Keep that in mind.
Accurate.
And then the week after that is I'm going to be in Las Vegas, so I will not be available
Atta
on
boy.
the 13th.
So what I'll do then is I'll set up just a small map, kind of like what I did with Kooch and Genius. I'll just set up
For that one.
a one map thing.
I was gonna say we completed the horror game, the
Yep.
game without cooks. I
Yeah.
could do. I mean, if you want to focus on prepping for your larger game, do that. I can run a one shot for you and Genius again. That'll
Sure.
be more of a one shot for
Yeah,
the
we can do
13th.
that.
Then so next week, what we will do is it will either be Norm running his new the extended game now, what we'll call the extended game.
Yep.
So
you'll
or
see
it
that.
will be me doing a one shot continuing the what's the name of it? Sunless Citadel with Ryan and Jeff.
That works, and obviously we talked throughout the week, and so we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, Genius, let me know. And then for John and Ryan, I don't remember how much gold. I'd have to go back and look how much gold you guys have. But if there are things you want to upgrade or buy because you're back at town, obviously between each story, you'll have the option. If you have enough gold or if you have, the opportunity, you'll be able to, trade stuff in or buy stuff or whatever.
I'll try to watch the show tomorrow, so I'll be ready for like the whole week. But are they in? Is it set in the Forgotten Realms, or is it?
I believe so. Is that what you were saying? Because we said it, yeah. Because we started that whole thing with the Belching Dragon and
Yeah.
Neverwinter.
Yep.
So it's in the Neverwinter Wood
Okay.
is where we have been. I assume. I imagine there's going to be a lot in the Neverwinter Wood. I mean, that witch is still there somewhere. This.
Yeah.
And
I'll have to go back and watch myself because it's been. I don't remember exactly what I said. It's been.
Well,
It's been,
you
like I said,
just
it's been 3 months.
go back and look at it and look at the map around Neverwinter. Find a Sword Coast map. Look at the map around Neverwinter and just determine where this fiefdom is or whatever this kingdom is that we are.
I mean, you guys are
Barony.
dwarves, right? If I'm
Yep.
remembering. I mean, there's
Yep.
like you could be from like the Mithril Hall area if this is post, post the Drist stories and things where they found that. Or I think there's a couple other dwarven strongholds if you want to be from something a little smaller than that.
There's a dwarven stronghold near 10 Towns.
Oh yeah, it was on the way. We saw that they probably didn't want us to come visit.
Yeah. I was thinking, and I know we're still on the stream, but I was thinking, how funny would it be if Jeff made one of either you or my little sister, Ryan, coming after us, tagging along. What are you guys doing? Like, I would love to do something like that. That just sounds funny to me.
Yeah, one of those like you went on an adventure and she followed and you didn't know she was there until you thought she was a monster and then was like, no, don't kill me.
Yep.
Are you talking about Genius's character for the?
Yeah, I just mentioned that maybe he could be like one of our little sisters just following us and we didn't know she was there. Like she was there the whole time. She's the reason the little girl was safe by the horses.
She kept her company.
Kept her company during that time. Kept her from running off. Something like that. Just an idea.
I'll watch it. I'll watch and see. I don't know if you guys are dwarves, if it makes sense to have all dwarves, or if
hell
it
yeah.
would make sense to mix it up. I don't know. I don't know the story.
I am a big fan of part of me wants to do a game with all bards. There's part of me that would love to do all thieves.
I will. I will put a plug in for. We did that. Someone was going to be missing, so we did basically an evil campaign. It's all rogues with our Wednesday night crew, and it was interesting because everybody did like a multi-class, and so it was like rogue druid, rogue cleric, rogue. So it was very interesting to see all the different takes of basically saying you're all thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so something like that would be really interesting. I did not. Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, we'll have to think about some additional items or something like that and talk about it as we get into the dwarven campaign.
Yeah, is there a good spot, John, for like items like a shop? Like, is there a pre-made shop lists out there for different levels and for costs? And
if you open, if you just go in, I mean, typically the way fifth edition was designed was to not have any magical items available for purchases. Like magic shops don't exist because magic items are very, very rare. It prevented players from going and selling off like super rare items and getting a ton of gold. So the way they kind of designed it is that doesn't happen. Based on previous editions, I have spreadsheets that have costs based on the rarity. Not a spreadsheet, it's a little list that I can share with you. Other than that, if you just go into the equipment section of the player's handbook, like if you go on D&D Beyond and go to sources and find the player's
magical
handbook.
Items. Yeah.
And you go to chapter 5 is equipment and just look at that. That's got a bunch of tables in it for armor and goes through explanation of coinage, but like all your basic armor is listed there, including shields and the different styles and how much it costs. Then you get into
if you're
like
looking
weapons,
for
simple weapons and
magical items,
martial
you
weapons.
can check out the DM's guide. There's magical items and kind of the relative cost, but they're very wide ranges for costs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Be
magical
looking for
items will not
boots.
be. I'm not going to say, or I'm going to say magical items are not purchasable unless, maybe I'll change that up, but I mean, you're level 2, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's something
Straight
where
up say magical items aren't purchasable, and then that gives you all the magical items to use as loot, which is really
Right,
cool.
or-
And then just remember that they go every 4 levels is a rarity level. So 1 through 4 should be uncommon, common, rarity. 4 to 8 is rare. 8 to 12 is very rare. And 12 to 16. Oh, wait, no. 1 to 4 is not common.
Common and uncommon.
4 to 8 is uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary.
Yeah, and you can always do, like, if you want the party to have the opportunity to get something, there are other adventurers out there that do want to sell things. They're just, not a place that's just like, oh, I'm a hall of selling magic. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, I hear you guys have some coin. I've got something that you might want. Or if we might come to you and say, man, it'd be really cool if we had a something,
And then a fun thing to do is you introduce an NPC that is like, here, I got this dagger for you. You got to buy it from me, though. It's 50 gold. It's a really great dagger. And then it's actually a curse dagger. And the thing that transfers the curse is the selling of the weapon.
Someone has to buy it willingly.
Someone has to buy it willingly from you. And then
That's
put
funny.
whatever freaking curse you want on. Be something dumb. Like it always swings at disadvantage, or every morning you need to make a wisdom saving throw to not poke your eye out because it's a dagger of Grumsh or something like that.
That sounds terrible.
Grumsh is a orc god that he's called the one
Grumsh
eye. Yeah, Grumsh one eye, and followers of Grumsh actually take their own eye out. And Jeff's character in my homebrew campaign had to they came across the statue of Grumsh, and he was a half orc, so he had to make wisdom saves to not take his eye out, as he was being influenced by this orcish god in the swamp.
I think it's good that the rest of the party was there, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I think with enough rolls, I would not have been able to stop.
I think if the party wasn't there and you were there by yourself, you would have just done it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can do. If you start looking at the different gods and the different items, like, there's a lot of ideas out there that you can just. Anytime I feel like I need some inspiration, I just start paging through that stuff and looking at it, because there's some really good shit out there.
Nice.
And there's a lot of homebrew stuff. I mean, literally, there's thousands and thousands of players that just want stuff that doesn't exist, and they make it.
And there's nothing saying you can't just straight up create something too.
Or take something from a movie or a book or whatever and adapt it to the story.
That's what I like about the D&D Beyond. You can create your own weapon and give it its own stuff, and actually have it in your inventory, which is what I did with that dagger that you found that first session.
Well, and fun things like something that I'm starting to pick up on, that it's fun when the weapons or shields have a proper name. I know there's a bit of the bulwark blocker that Ryan kind of leaned into with that, and stuff like that. Like, if it can get even more fun if you make them like sentient weapons and stuff. A sentient weapon that doesn't always listen to you. You got to make a charisma roll to get your weapon to attack for you at normal, otherwise it's at disadvantage.
Like that, what was that? It was the sword in Roger Rabbit, where it was like just kind of floppy. It wasn't working, and you had to like.
Oh, was that in my homebrew campaign that I had the mace with the inferiority complex? Oh no, that was Rick's campaign.
I think that was it was not. Yeah, I remember you talking about it.
He gave me a hammer that had an inferiority complex, that was sentient hammer that was like hated itself and thought it was a piece of shit because it was old and rusty.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, Scott in his campaign that he's running, he had these, I think they were armlets or something like that, or gloves, but they would wake up every morning and like either they would be inspirational or they would be like, you're terrible.
Yeah, like, you can do it, or
lazy.
Go back to bed.
What are you even doing today? Just jump off a cliff.
Nope, not that side of the bed. Get out on the right side of the bed.
All right.
Well, before you go into the outro, I wrote this last week, not knowing when it was going to matter, but everyone raise up your mug For Ellie, Krixis, Jacob, and Doug. And Doc at the bar, Aronan from afar. To TBD, we cheer and we chug.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Nice work, genius.
That was an adventure, and I can't wait to get on more of these. This has been amazing, and we have something that came out of this initial adventure. It's just fucking cool. I love this, guys. I'm gonna love building this out between all of us.
Yeah,
So
agreed. A lot to explore. And with that, we are done for today. We are Two Nerds, One Quest. Thank you all for joining us for this final session of this campaign. We look forward to entertaining you more as time goes on. Join us Sunday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Next week is a time change. Be sure to change your clocks. 8:30 a.m. regardless of the time
Daylight
change.
savings.
Yeah, daylight savings.
Do it. Or how late we should stay out Saturday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or how hungover people are. So we shall be back next week. Join us, twitch.tv /TomMNorm, TOMMNORM. Support us by letting other people know of the podcast, of the show. Podcast drops for free Monday mornings, usually around 7:30 a.m. Central Time. I think with new stuff going forward, I'm going to bump that back to give the patrons more of a bonus. So patrons get it the same day that we do this. Usually by noon Central Time, the podcast for the patrons with all of the pre- and post-show content is available. So I think I am going to start doing that, releasing the podcast for free on Wednesdays versus Mondays. It just gives the patrons a little bit more of a bonus. That early content. Yeah. Follow us wherever you want. We have a Discord, bit.ly/OurFunDiscord. Patreon.com /TomMNorm or good lord /Two Nerds One Quest. Yeah. With that being said,
And send us questions in the Discord if there's loose ends we didn't remember that we didn't wrap up, because we'd love to flesh out this world if there's things that you want to know.
Great point. Yeah, we would love to hear from you in the Discord, or wherever it is you can get a hold of us. Let us know what you thought of the sessions and the campaign. Let us know, things that you liked, things that you didn't like, things that we can do better. So for me,
All right.
for Genius, for Krixis, who did survive, and for the ever fun-loving and great storytelling DMJC. We are Two Nerds on Quest. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week. Peace.
You buddy.